So previous class, we started discussing about the LED driver. We discussed this this HV9910 buck converter based LED driver circuit. Okay. So this not only buck converter, we have other options are there. So that is boost converter, any DC-DC converter. Okay, any DC-DC converter. So we do this task. The main drawbacks, so with this whatever the version that we discussed earlier is right. So this is usually the supply is AC, right? So if it is AC supply, so we have to proceed like this, right? So for this case, there are some of the drawbacks. So one of the drawback is harmonics. Since it is driving some pulsating current, so therefore we can expect some harmonics on the DC side. So therefore these harmonics appear on the source current side. These harmonics appear on the source current side. So whenever it is drawing some harmonic currents, so there are some regulatory bodies, so that will not accept harmonic pollution, right? So when we are standardizing the circuit or when we are commercializing circuit, so they have some, we have some regulating bodies like IEC, right? You know what is IEC? What is IEC? What is IEC? What is IEC? And FCC. So this IEC is standards, right? It's a, in other words, it's a regulatory body for the commercial and other equipments. So it is basically at International Electrotechnical Commission, International Electrotechnical Commission. So it will look after all these regulations. So how much, right, how much polluting it is, or how much safe to the end user and all. So it is looking after this. So this IEC is usually this European standard, and this is FCC. So this is US based one. So FCC is the Federal Communication Commission. Federal Communications Commission. This is US based and this is IEC based. So these are the regulatory bodies, and they will constantly see, right? So they will constantly observe. So how much, so level of pollution or how much safe to the end user, they will check. So according to this LED drivers, or we have some standards. So that is IEC 61000-3-2. So that will fix the harmonic current emission. So that will fix the harmonic current emission for loads less than 16 amperes and single phase loads. Okay. Similarly, we have this IEEE standard, IEEE 519 1992. So this is I think 2005. This is 2005 standard, and this is 1992 standard. So according to these standards, the supply, right, whatever the drawing by loads less than 16 amperes, so it must draw that a THD of the supply current must be less than 5%. Okay, so then only, so they will allow for the commercializations. If it is beyond that, so they won't allow. Okay, so this is IEC 6100 standards. This 3 indicates the part number. I think this 2 is section number, that is 32. So these standards so will not allow the harmonic pollution so caused by these LED drivers. So therefore, we need to incorporate some extra things for this. And another drawback in this one is the poor power factor. Another drawback is poor power factor. So we need to address these two. So one is the harmonic pollution or harmonics caused or harmonics present in the supply current. Another one is the poor power factor. So therefore, what we have to do is, So we need to look for other alternatives for this. So that means this circuit more or less remains same, right? So this thing, so we need to improve. So one of the way to improve is the presence of power factor correction, circuits, or in other words, active rectifiers. We need to include active rectifier here so that it will draw unity power factor, and the supply currents are also sinusoidal and in phase with the supply voltage. Okay. So that means this rectifier we need to replace with a active rectifier or active front end converter. Right. So the drawback with this active front end in case of this LED application is, so we have discussed several front end converters, right? So one of the commonly used is boost rectifier. The circuit is like this. You're aware of the circuit, right? So we have some diode bridge rectifier here, and after that we have this inductor and a switch here, and another diode here, and a capacitor. Okay. So this is AC supply, and we will connect load here. So this is, we can replace this one, so with this boost based rectifier, but the drawback is, right, the drawback is the presence of this capacitor. We already studied that the main drawback in case of single phase active rectifier is the presence of second order harmonic on the DC side. So that reflects as a third order harmonic on the AC side. So we need to filter out the second order harmonics. So therefore, we require a large capacitor. This capacitor, if the size is large, so therefore we need to go with electrolytic capacitor. So capacitors are usually three, four different types. So one is the electrolytic capacitor and ceramic capacitor, and another one is ceramic capacitor and this paper-based capacitors. So these are commonly used. Ceramic capacitors or these paper-based capacitors are commonly used. Okay. These film type capacitors, sometimes we use film type capacitor. So generally these electrolytic capacitors are used for higher values, and this film capacitor or the ceramic capacitors are used for lower ratings or lower capacitance values. Since this size is very high, so therefore you require a electrolytic capacitor. The drawback with this electrolytic capacitor is its life. So generally it is continuously on, right? That means the expected lifetime is around 5,000 hours to 10,000 hours. If the temperature of this ambient temperature is very high, so in that case, even this lifetime is slightly, even it very much reduced. And sometimes we can expect that within 1,000 hours or less than that, so it will be, means the capacitance will be lost. So whereas when we are comparing with this lifetime, this LED circuits, so LED light, it will usually withstand for 1 lakh hours, or this LED driver circuits, so that also withstand for the same amount of time, that is 1 lakh hour. Okay. Since we are integrating everything and these LED drivers are irreparable, so that means all these things are put in one single chip and the repairability is very least. So therefore, right, so the LED is having the lifespan of so this much, this capacitor lifespan is very small, so therefore we can expect that the overall life of this LED so maybe predominantly depends on this capacitor, right? That means that will predominantly depends on this capacitor. So therefore, so they are coming up with some newer solutions, so where they eliminate the presence of this electrolytic capacitor, and they're replacing with this film or this ceramic capacitors. Okay. This film or ceramic capacitor. So how they are doing, let's see. This is the LED application here. So this is AC side. So we have some rectifier here and this power factor correction circuit. Power factor correction circuit. And after that we have this capacitor and this inductor. We have this capacitor and this inductor and some additional bidirectional converter is presented. So what is the purpose of the bidirectional converter? So that we will discuss. Okay. So here, this is capacitor, but not an electrolytic capacitor because the size of this capacitor is very small. And here, this L and C, whatever this L and or this filter, so the object of this L and C is to filter out the switching frequency harmonics or switching frequency ripples, but not the second order harmonics. So therefore, the size of this L or the size of this C is very less. The size of this C is very less. So we can go with ceramic or film type capacitors where their life of the ceramic is usually around 50,000 hours to around 70,000 hours. So therefore, the life expectancy of this LED also will be very much higher with this. Okay. So what is the purpose of this bidirectional switch or this bidirectional converter is, so whatever the second order harmonics that are present in this circuit, so those will be compensated or those will be circulated in this bidirectional converter. Those will be circulated in this bidirectional converter. So therefore, on the load point of view, so you are getting only the I0, a constant value. Okay. So that means this one will actively produce the second order harmonic, so which is opposite to the one that is produced on this IS. So therefore, the overall current or this means the load current will be a constant and it is ripple free. But in the source point of view, right, since it is also circulating here, so therefore from the source point of view, you can get unity power factor. The main thing is the size of this capacitor is reduced. So let us assume that, so this input supply, so this Vn, so this Vm sine omega t, right? And this input current, so if you have a unity power factor, so the current is also in this form. So therefore we can expect that this is Im sine omega t. So that means both are in phase, right? And both are in phase and it is free from harmonics. So that means that the overall input power or instantaneous input power, if you are multiplying these two, right? If you are multiplying these two, so that means this is Vm sine omega t square. So this can be written as Vm by 2 into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Okay. So this is the one, this is supply voltage, and this is the expected input current, and this is the Pin. So if you plot this one, you can get like this. Since it is 2 times the frequency here, so that means this is one fundamental cycle. So therefore you have this kind of waveform. Clear? So here, so this is the input. So this Vm, right? So this Vm, so this will be the, right? So how to write this one? So Vm by 2 is the, so it is a constant value, right? So this is the constant value. So this we can represent as Pin, so that is capital Pin. So this is instantaneous value, and this is 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Agree? Right. So that is Vrms into Irms. So that we represented as the RMS power. So that is Pin. So if you notice that, so it consists of second order harmonic content. It consists of second order harmonic content. and come to here. So this is the capacitor voltage. This is the capacitor, right? So if we are calculating the power on the output side, right? If you are calculating the power on the output side, so let us assume that this capacitor voltage is V naught. So that is V naught, and its current is I naught dash of T into V naught. So that is the output power. In other words, so that is P naught. So we are measuring the power here. So if we assume that the efficiency is 100% or lossless, so this is equal to P in. So this is equal to P in. So from this I naught of T, so this we can calculate this P in by V naught into 1 minus cos 2 omega T. So it's P in by V naught into 1 minus cos omega T, right? So this is both are same. So only difference is this V naught. So therefore the shape of this I naught dash is also same. You can see I naught dash here. So it is consists of second order harmonic component. You can see here consists of second order harmonic, right? So let us assume that this bidirectional converter, right? If this bidirectional converter, so producing the second order component in the opposite direction, producing the second order component in the opposite direction. So therefore, so what you left on the output side, only this P in by V naught. Only you will get P in by V naught. Right. So that means, so what is the current that IB? So the IB current, this current. So what should be this IB current? So it will be so minus of this P in by V naught into cos 2 omega T. So minus P in by V naught into cos 2 omega T. If this is the current in IB, right? If this is the current in IB, so the overall current, this I naught equal to this IB plus this I naught. So from this I naught is I naught dash minus IB. So therefore, if you are subtracting these two, so what you left is P in by V naught. So P in, it's not. Oh. So remember, this is capital P. So this P in by V naught. It's clear? It's clear? So this P in, so this is P in, so this Vm Im by 2. So therefore this P in is constant. So if you keep this V naught also constant, so therefore this load current is constant. Okay. So this is load current, and this is the current drawn by this IB, and this is I naught dash, and this P in. Is clear? Okay. So this is how we will obtain a unity power factor by modifying or by using some additional controller. So that will control the second order harmonic content. So that will control the second order control. So basically this is a bidirectional converter. Maybe you can use a 2-quadrant chopper here. You can use a 2-quadrant chopper here. So generally up to 1000 or up to 100 watt, right? Up to 100 watt. So we normally prefer this flyback converter. You studied flyback converter? Studied that?
Yes, sir.
You know flyback converter, right? It is operating discontinuous conduction mode and continuous conduction mode. So which one is preferred? Discontinuous conduction or continuous conduction mode is preferred? So generally discontinuous conduction mode is preferred. So when you're using this discontinuous conduction mode, the advantage is the switching frequency we can keep constant. Okay, if you're operating in discontinuous conduction mode, we can keep the switching frequency constant. So when you keep the switching frequency constant, so therefore it is helpful in designing the transformer. And another thing is that if you're operating discontinuous conduction mode, so we require some transformer resetting is required, right? For that, you require some reverse recovery diode. On the secondary side, you need to keep a diode for reverse recovery, and that diode can be we can remove that diode. Okay, so that is the advantage. So when it is operating in discontinuous conduction mode, we can keep the switching frequency constant, and we can remove the diode or this reverse recovery diode on the secondary side. So this will be the overall circuit. So this is the flyback converter here. So this is a flyback converter. For the input for this flyback converter is obtained from a diode based rectifier. We have this transformer, so which is having n:1 turns ratio, which is having n:1 turns ratio. So we have this diode and this C0, right? And this inductor or this filter L0 and C0. So basically this L0 and C0 is to filter out the switching frequency harmonics or switching ripples. And this is the one, right? If you notice that, so this is a 2-quadrant chopper. We have some DC supply here, a switch here, and across that a switch, another switch here. Okay? And it's connected to this one. So these two switches are operating in complementary. These two switches are operating in complementary so that it will produce a current template. So that it will produce a current template or this current waveform. So which is opposite to the second order harmonics that are generated by this I0 dash. Okay. Clear? So we'll discuss one by one. So how actually these are operating. So first come to this flyback converter. As already said that it is operating in discontinuous conduction mode. So it is operating in discontinuous conduction mode. So let us assume that right. So let us assume that its duty cycle. There are two duty cycles, right? So one duty cycle on the primary side and another equivalent duty cycle on the secondary side. When it is operating discontinuous conduction mode, I think you are aware that, right? So generally the secondary side, the transformer, when some flux is present in the transformer, it will not come to zero, right? So therefore it will take some extra time, or if you have some additional circuit to reset the transformer, in that case, it will come instantaneously. Okay. So come to this flyback converter. So let us assume that this is the primary current, and so this is the secondary current waveforms, the primary current and the secondary current waveforms. So this is n:1 transformer. So that means the current on the secondary side is multiplied by n times. The current on the secondary side is multiplied by 10 times. So n times. Okay. So this one, so this is the peak value. This is the waveform, so that generated by, or this generated by this flyback. So you can see that waveform. You can see this waveform. This is discontinuous current waveform. So this one is the primary current. The green one is the primary current, and this blue one is its average value. The blue one is its average value, and this one is its peak value, right? So this red one is its peak value or instantaneous peak value, and this is the overall peak value. So the green one is the actual pulsating output or actual pulsating current on the primary side. And this is average value. And its average value, this blue one. And this red one is its instantaneous peak value. And this is the overall peak, so corresponding to this point. Okay. Similarly, on the secondary side, so more or less both are same. Okay, both are same, but it is multiplied by n times because the transformer is n:1. So this n times, again, it's its peak value, instantaneous peak value, and this I0 and its load current I0, and this is instantaneous peak value, and this is overall peak. So this is for off cycle period. This is for off cycle period, and remaining off cycle, you can expect that this waveform will be continuous, right, in the remaining off cycle. So this waveform is basically like this, right? Because you're measuring here. So therefore we can expect this waveform is like this, so that on the AC side, you can get this kind of waveform. So we have formula for this. The peak value, remember this formula? The inductor, this primary current, the peak value. So we can express like this: the output voltage or the voltage appeared across the primary. So that is Vm sine omega t. So this is the voltage that appeared across the primary, right? So Vm sine omega t is the supply. So after diode bridge rectifier, we can expect that it's modulated into its duty cycle dy, and this primary leakage inductance LP into Fs, switching frequency Fs. So this is the peak current formula. I think you might have studied the derivation for this. The average current, right? The average current, so each one, so that means each one average current. So we look like a triangle. So therefore we can average this one, or this average. So off into its height is its peak value. So that's IP peak into its time period is dy. Okay. Off into base into height. So this peak value, right? It's instantaneous peak value, and how much duration it is on. So that is dy times. So if you substitute this one here, okay, so this Vm sine omega t into, so dy, so dy square divided by 2 into LP Fs. Fs is the switching frequency. This Fs is the switching frequency. It's clear? So one thing you can notice here, right? So one thing you can notice here, if you keep this dy constant, right? If you keep this dy constant, and if you keep this Fs constant, so in this case, this IP average value is proportional to the supply voltage. It is proportional to the supply voltage. Similarly, on the secondary side, right? Similarly, on the secondary side, I secondary side peak value. So this one is n times the primary side peak value, n times the primary side peak value. So that is NVS, sorry, Vm sine omega t into dy by, so this LP into Fs. So that is secondary side peak value. So here this n is the trans ratio between the primary and secondary. Okay. But the secondary side, the thing is that the duty ratio of the secondary side, so it will be different, right? The secondary side duty ratio is normally where the transformer will reset the transformer, right? That reset time for the secondary time. So where it current is falls to 0, so that will denotes the secondary side duty ratio. So that is DR. I think you are aware that. So this we defined as this LS, the secondary side volt leakage inductance, IS into peak by this V0 into time period TS. So you're aware that, so this is 1 n is to 1. So therefore LP by LS So that is 1 by n square, or I think n square. That is n square. We are referring on the primary side. Okay. So this dr, right? So this dr, so this is corresponding to the duty cycle of the reset time for the secondary current to fall to 0. So this is the point where the secondary current fall to 0. So why these two are different? Because we need to reset the flux on the transformer, so that way some delay will happen. So that's why we have some different duty cycle on the secondary side. So this is the instantaneous peak current. So similarly, we have this average peak current. So we have this average peak current. So like on the secondary average. So this is IS 1 by 2. It's instantaneous peak. That's IS peak into this DR. Okay. So earlier we have dy. So now it is dr. So this is Vm square. Okay. Vm square dy square into sine square. I think if you substitute dr value here, you will get 2V0 LP Fs. So already this dr, so this is the value of dr, right? We're substituting everything, so you will get this Vm square dy square sine square omega t 2V0 LP into Fs. So this sine square omega t, we can rewrite like this. So this Vm square dy square by sine square, right? This will be 4V0 LPFS into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Okay. So it contains the second order harmonic along with some switching frequency harmonics. It contains second order harmonics along with some switching frequency harmonics. But this presence of this L0 and C0, this L0 and C0, so that will remove the second order, that will remove the high frequency, that will remove the, or we will design this L0 and C0 such that this high frequency harmonics or high frequency switching harmonics are removed. So, but it left with the second order harmonic and this DC load current. Okay. It actually contains of high frequency second order harmonics, high frequency switching harmonics, second order harmonic, and this DC load current, right? But we are filtering this using this L0 and C0, and we left only with the second order harmonics and this DC current or this load current. Okay. Right. So this IS average, so this is equal to this I0 dash, right? So this I0 dash. So why it is almost equal to I0 dash? Because the objective of this is to just to reduce the high frequency harmonics, right? This filter is very small to reduce the so therefore these two currents, you can expect that these two currents are more or less same. These two currents are more or less same. The same thing is written here. So this is almost equal to this I0 dash. This is equal to I0 dash. So this is the average value, right? If this is the average value, we can calculate the output current or this the one no, or this the average value you can calculate. So how it is calculated is off cycle, right? So that means 1 by T line frequency by 2 into integration of 0 to 2 line by 2, and this one, so this I0 dash into dt if you are averaging this one, so you will get Vm square dy square by 4V naught LP Fs. So this is the so this is the output current. So this is the output current. So whatever the second order harmonic or second order content, so when you are taking for off cycle average, so that value will become 0. The second order content, so its value will become 0 when you're taking average. So this is the formula for the output current. Similarly, we can calculate the input power. So the input power, so that's P in. So again, it's the same integration, 1 by T line by 2 integration of just 0 to T line, so by 2. So it is basically 1 by pi, which is 1 by 2 pi, right? It's basically 1 by pi. So here it's the power, right? So therefore supply side, right? So this V in supply side or this input side. So this Vm sine omega t into transformer primary current, average value of this transformer primary current is IP average into dt. So if we calculate this one, so we will get Vm square into dy by 4LP Fs. So this is P in. Vm square dy into 4LP Fs. If you want to calculate this dy or duty cycle, it will be 2 by, so from this you can calculate this duty cycle, 2 by Vm into root P in into LP Fs. So these two are important. So one is the duty cycle and this calculation of this I naught. So we can also calculate the ratings for the different switches. So one is the transformer current rating, so that is peak value, so that's required, right? So that means 2 times the, if you substitute everything, so that's P in by LP Fs into mod sine omega t. Okay. Similarly, on the secondary side, it is n times, so everything is same, so just it is n times. So this is how to find out the input. If you know the input, how to find out the expression for our duty ratio. So next thing is how to select the value of C naught and L naught. So here the C naught and L naught are there, right? So these are basically used to filter out the high frequency switching harmonics. Right. So during harmonics, for high frequency harmonics, so these two will come in parallel, right? So these two will come in parallel. So therefore the circuit will be like this. So this is source current or this secondary current, and this is the current through this capacitor, and this is the I naught. So this is the load current I naught. So these are used to attenuate the high frequency harmonic disturbances. So therefore you can define this zeta or attenuation ratio of this current harmonics. So that's I naught. So this is the one, right? So we need to attenuate from that. So in this one, so this is of this j omega. So this one, if you calculate this, so it is 1 by j omega c naught, 1 by j omega c naught plus j omega L naught, right? So this one, so it is 1 by 1 minus omega square. So this L naught into C naught. So this is the zeta. So that is the attenuation rate for high frequency harmonics. This is how to design this L and C naught. Okay. So if you assume that, so this zeta value, right, for better harmonic compensation or better harmonic current attenuation, so you have to make this zeta as small as possible, right? So as small as possible. If you keep the smaller value of the zeta, so sometimes what will happen, this L naught and C naught will be high. If the small value of this zeta, so this L naught C naught value increases. If we keep small value, this L naught C naught value increases. So therefore, what we have to do is we need to increase the switching frequency. So let us assume that if the switching frequency is 200 kilohertz, so under this case, this L naught C naught for zeta corresponding to 0.05. So we have to keep this zeta as small as possible. So that means it will be 13.94 into 10 to the power of minus 12. Okay. So that means if you keep this C naught value smaller, this L naught will be higher and vice versa. Okay. So for example, if you select a C naught, right, for example, you select a small value of the C naught, so 0.17 microfarad, for example. So under this case, this L naught value will be so 30 microhenry. So that means if you keep the small value of this C naught, so that means we need to slightly increase the L value. So if you use a smaller value, so that's 0.47 microfarad. So that means we can keep this L value as slightly higher. So that is 30 millihenry. So the small value of the C naught, so you need to go for the electrolytic capacitor. We can use a small film capacitor or some ceramic capacitor we can use for this. Okay, we can use a ceramic capacitor for this. So commonly one that is 470 nanofarad. So that is commonly used ceramic parameter that we can use. Okay, 470 nanofarad capacitor we can use. So that is ceramic capacitor we can use. We can slightly increase this L naught value. So that is about the design of this L naught and C naught. So here this bidirectional converter. So what is the input for this bidirectional converter? So how this bidirectional converter is supposed to operate? It's supposed to draw a current, right? So it's supposed to draw a current. This is the I naught, right? And this is IB and this is I naught. So therefore it's supposed to draw this kind of current template. In other words, we need to extract the second order harmonic content. We need to extract the second order harmonic content. So from this I naught dash. So from this I naught dash, we need to extract the second order harmonic content. So the approximate second order harmonic content. So that is already right. So that is we have derived this, right? I think I erased. So we have derived this I naught dash. So that is 4 Vm square dy square into 4 V naught LP Fs into 1 minus cos 2 omega t. The second order harmonic content in this one is, so that is IB is minus Vm square dy square 4 V naught LP Fs into cos 2 omega t. So that is the second order harmonic content. Okay. So we need to track this second order harmonic content as a reference. So that means by operating these switches, we can appropriately control the current. You can appropriately control this 2-quadrant chopper, right? We can control the current in this 2-quadrant chopper. So therefore, the current that actually going through this LED is ripple free. So that means a constant current will go here. So this is the overall circuit. So this is the overall circuit. and it is implemented using analog circuits. You can see start from here. This top one is the control of flyback converter, and this one is to control the bidirectional converter. You can see here. So this is secondary side current. Secondary side current, by using current transformer, we are sensing the secondary side current. We are sensing the secondary side current, and here we are also sensing this ISF. Okay, so this ISF is equal to this current, this I0 dash. So this ISF, so we need to extract the second order harmonic content from this ISF. So we come to later. So after that, so this portion, that means the second order harmonic content, so that is going to this bottom control or this bidirectional controller. So here this ISF, again this one is the filter one. So this RFC, that's some low pass filter to remove this high frequency components, and it is given to a error amplifier. So this error amplifier, right? So basically it represents a PI controller. Basically it represents a PI controller or some error amplifier. And the error amplifier input, so this is the reference current input. So this I0 reference. So where we have to give the reference to the non-inverted input. So this will generate the modulating signal. In other words, it will generate the duty cycle dy. It will generate the duty cycle dy for this. And it is compared with a sawtooth carrier. So this carrier may be 100 kHz or 200 kHz, so depending on that. So this is given to the reset pin, and where you sample this one. So by using this RS flip-flop, you can actually give, or no need to give this RS flip-flop. So you just add some comparator for this, or we already comparator, right? So you can give to SR flip-flop or this RS flip-flop or D flip-flop, you can give it to control the switches Q. So it is sampled at every clock frequency. So this is the control of the upper one. Similar to control of this bottom one or this bidirectional switch, the input to this bidirectional switch is this I0 dash. So here we need to extract the second order harmonic. We need to extract the second order harmonic, and at the same time we need to control the capacitor voltage. We need to control the capacitor voltage. So this is the current is the input for this one. So we have some small filter, some small low pass filter here that consists of this RF2 and CF2. It consists of some small low pass filter, and where this one, right? So this is the one. So CF3 and RF3. So where it will, right? So where it will filter the, right, or where it will extract the second order harmonic. So these are tuned to extract the second order harmonics. Okay, clear? So that means it will generate the second order harmonics. So this is the reference for the, this is the reference, and this is the actual IB. So both are given to a error amplifier here, and it is compared here and all. So this is the inner current control. Similarly, we have this outer voltage control. So for voltage control, so this is the VDC. Okay, so this is the measured voltage across the capacitor, or this measured voltage. So this one, or measured voltage across the load, and it is given to a some voltage, since it is implemented using op amps. So some voltage divider, some potential divider circuit to obtain the voltage that corresponding to this one. And here, this is the reference voltage, reference DC voltage. This is the reference DC voltage. This is the measured voltage, and this is the reference DC voltage. Again, this is error amplifier. So this error amplifier, so that will generate, or that will generate the voltage template or this I maximum template. So both are multiplied. Okay, so that this I, or this current template that is corresponding to this IB is generated, and it is compared to sawtooth waveform. And after that, we have two switches are there, right, in this 2-quadrant chopper. So to control the current, so that is given to this reset pin, and it will generate the firing pulses for Q1. So negative of this one, so that will generate for the Q2 switch. It's clear? The idea is simple, right? So the idea is simple. So generally it develops a second order harmonic. So to filter out the second order harmonic, you require a large filter. So that filter may be electrolytic filter we require. But if you keep a electrolytic filter, the life expectancy of this filter, electrolytic capacitor is very small. So just simply 5,000 hours or so. Right. So when it is operating at higher temperature, when SIT capacitance will be lost. So therefore, what we have to do is we need to remove that electrolytic capacitor. So remember, we are not removing the capacitor. We are just choosing a better capacitor or just choosing a small capacitor. So where the life of that capacitor will be much higher than the electrolytic capacitor. So that means, so whatever that means, that we need to somehow we need to filter out the second order harmonic, right? If the second order harmonics is fed to this one, so what we can experience, some flickering will be present. So that means some flickering will be present if you directly feed the second order harmonic filter or second order harmonics without filtering. So therefore, somehow we need to actively compensate this second order harmonics. Simply, it looks like an active power filter, will operate as an active power filter. So where it will filter out the second order harmonics. So this entire job is to filter out the second order harmonic. So therefore, on the load side, you can get a pure DC currents. Okay. You have any questions? So we have seen that. So how to select this I2, calculate this I0 value. So how, if the input is given, so how to say how much I0 or how much power it actually, we can also calculate dy and this dr. We also discussed how to calculate this L0 and C0. So you have any questions? Any questions? No questions?
No, sir.